Hello and welcome to The Real Deal. Ever since Robert Downey Jr. swaggered his way across the screen in 2008, Iron Man, Marvel's superhero blockbusters have been getting bigger and better.
That's right, with Guardians of the Galaxy, now they're getting a little bit stranger. The latest chapter in the Marvel Cinematic Universe includes a gun-toting raccoon and a sentient tree, among others, with a cast that consists of Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana and Vin Diesel. Have Marvel got another hit on their hands? We'll tell you right after the trailer.
Why would you want to save the galaxy? Because I'm one of the idiots who lives in it! Oh, what the hell? I don't got that long a lifespan anyway.
Well, there is a lot going on in that trailer.
A lot of awesomeness.
Okay, a lot of awesomeness. If you guys at home have seen the poster on buses, the underground, you know, advertising this, you might be a bit like, is this going to be something that I really want to spend my money on? Well, we're here to tell you the good and the bad of it. But first and foremost, Amon, tell us what it's all about.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you what the prologue is about, but Peter Quill, or I should say Chris Pratt plays Peter Quill, who likes to call himself Star-Lord. He's an adventurer. He finds this orb, and this orb is something that a lot of people want. Eventually, he gets sort of thrown into jail, and he has to be forced into a partnership with Gamora, who's like a green-skinned assassin.
Zoe Saldana.
Zoe Saldana. Drax the Destroyer, who's played by Dave Bautista, who some of you may know as a former WWE wrestler. Rocket Raccoon, who's voiced by Bradley Cooper, who's like a gun-toting raccoon. He's awesome. We'll get to more of that later. And then Crute, who is a sentient tree, voiced by Vin Diesel. And they have to sort of partner up to keep the orb away from Ronan, who's the villain of the piece, who wants the orb for his own ends.
Weird names.
Yes.
Intergalactic names. Let's find out just what's good about this film. Okay, so we've heard what it's all about. I know that you are bursting like a star, getting ready to burst into life in the galaxy to tell us why this is such a good film. Go on.
Yeah, so many reasons. Where do I begin?
Can I tell you where to begin?
You can tell me where to begin.
I'll tell you where to begin.
Okay.
Begin with someone like me, who is not a comic book nerd, not offense to anyone out there, who doesn't...
She's forgiven.
I'm forgiven, thank you. Who has seen this poster and gone, that doesn't look like it's something for me. Why should I go watch it?
Well, see, the thing is, before Robert Downey Jr. came in with Iron Man in 2008, that was actually considered a risk because nobody knew who he was. I mean, people sort of thought, I mean, a man in an iron suit, how weird is that? But Marvel have gotten so good at putting their characters onto screen, and it's the same thing with this. You fall in love with these characters and you forget, one, that you got Crute and Rocket Raccoon, who are all CGI characters, but they do it so well, you forget that they're CGI, just accept them.
They just feel so real.
And it's the same thing with the entire team. The camaraderie between, and the way the dynamics between all of them are just absolutely fantastic.
I really like in like kind of Marvel films like Iron Man, like Captain America, where there is a great kind of banter and rapport between these characters. I assume that's carried on into this.
Yeah, literally, this is the most fun a Marvel film has been since Avengers.
Oh, amazing.
Yes,
and
it's
also,
hilarious.
Also, it's been, I've heard, it's been touted as Avengers meets Star Wars.
Yep, that, I mean, it owes its DNA to a lot of films like that. I mean, Star Wars, there's a bit of Firefly, Serenity in there. You could definitely tell, you know, what its influences are.
Yeah.
But you know, it does it so well. I mean, as I said, the character dynamics, they are all individually loners, but eventually, as you can see them gelling as a team bit by bit, and then they eventually put their differences aside for friendship, for family, and that all works very well, very organically.
So sweet.
Yeah, no. I mean, it really, to a point where there are some really good emotional moments which are quite intimate, and they really land very, very well. To that end, Crute, who literally has only like 5 words. I mean, the main 3 words that he uses is I am Crute. And it's just different inflections.
Casting with Vin Diesel. 5 words.
No, he did Iron Giant, but he did, I think that's part of the reason why they cast him. But he does it so fantastically. The different inflections that he puts on the voice, and you really, I mean, in the beginning, it's only Rocket who can understand him. But even by the end, we understand what he's meaning when he's saying, I am Groot, we are Groot, etc. And that really, really hit the note as well. And then obviously you get to the action, it's in this space, so
it's crazy.
Space battles, laser battles, hand-to-hand stuff. Groot steals the show, and I'm not gonna, obviously we don't spoil here, but there's a scene which had me going, oh my gosh, that's awesome.
That happens quite a lot with these kind of comic book adaptations in Le Mans, so it's not something unusual.
And then, I mean, I will say there's a prison breakout scene, which is a standout. It is so awesome. I'm going to say awesome a lot in this review, aren't I? But it really is, I mean, a lot of fun. The spectacle is great. The heart is really, really good. And the humor is fantastic because you got Chris Pratt, who is sort of half human. And he brings his sort of own sort of human jokes to the thing. And then Drax takes everything quite literally, so he doesn't really understand sort of metaphors and everything else, and there's a bit of humor in there. And then Rocket's attitude is so brazen and just sarcastic. You gotta love that too. I mean, Rocket was my favorite character in this.
He's the raccoon, right?
He's a raccoon.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's voice, by the way, is unbelievably cool. It's so perfect for the character. I mean, when he was initially cast, I was like, Bradley Cooper, really? But it works so well. I mean, I could talk about how much awesome this film is for you better stop me.
I'm going to stop you right now, and let's go straight on to what's not so good about Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so you said you could talk about this all day long about how great it is. There has to be some sort of flaws somewhere. There's stuff that might not work.
It is quite a, not predictable sort, but quite a simple storyline. But even then, that's not really a criticism per se, because you've seen sort of family and friendship and team, you've seen all that done before.
Yeah.
But if they do it so well here that it almost doesn't really, it's not a void, that criticism. But I will say that the villains get a bit of the short shift. There's Korath, who's played by Jimon Honsu. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Jimon Honsu.
He's a bit sidelined. You got Nebula, who's played by Karen Gillan. A very sort of interesting visual design. She's a bit short shifted. Ronan as well, who's the main baddie. He is a bit.
Who is a baddie, Ronan?
Ronan the Accuser is his full.
It doesn't really have that standout feel to it, does it? No.
I mean, he's got a couple of moments, but again, he gets a little bit of the short shift too. But I mean, this is a film where they're trying to build a world and trying to build up their characters, the main Guardians. And in any other film, the lack of sort of villains being imposing would be more of a problem than it is. But because they do the Guardians so well, you can forgive it.
Okay.
Very well. I mean, you're having so much fun with just watching the Guardians and the camaraderie and how they're getting all together and everything else, that you almost, the villains, I mean, it's not like they're terrible, but you could have used a bit more of them to really make them imposing. But again, I didn't mind it too much.
To be fair, if that's the only bad stuff about this film,
it
then
really is.
There's not that much to say. But
I will have to say, I mean, we should put this in a good session, but I have to say the soundtrack in this film.
Oh, you love a good soundtrack.
No. I'm not talking. No, I mean, the score is great. I mean, I love superhero score. Anybody knows me knows it. But the actual soundtrack, oh my gosh, awesome. I mean, you got Jackson 5 again there. You got Cherry Bomb in there. Again, you just stop me. Just stop me.
Okay, I'm going to stop you right now. You've heard the good. You've heard the bad. Let's go straight on to the real deal. Okay, so Amon, I'm almost guaranteed I know how many stars you're going to give this, but for these wonderful people at home, remember, not everyone is going to know about our lovely comic book passions that we have here at The Real Deal, but if you are just thinking about how to spend your Friday night at the cinema or even your weekend, and this is coming up as one of the options, then why should we go and watch it?
The spectacle is great, as you would expect from a Marvel film, but the heart and the humor, it's the trifecta, and they do it so well. These characters, you're going to want to see more of them as soon as the credits roll. I wanted to watch it again as soon as it finished. I'm going to give it 4 stars because it's not perfect.
Okay.
It's not perfect. As I say, the whole villains thing, you could do a little bit more there. But this is the foundation that they built to sort of build on. The sequel's already been announced, and the film hasn't even been released yet. That's just a sign of how confident Marvel are in this film, and they should be because it's awesome. So go out and say it.
They call themselves the Guardians of the Galaxy.
What a bunch of a-holes.
hooked on a feeling.
So that's the real deal on Guardians of the Galaxy. What other Marvel character or team would you like to see get the big screen treatment? This is actually an easy one for me. Black Panther would be awesome. Trust me, he's like Marvel's version of Batman in many different ways.
Okay.
But if they could introduce Wakanda in there as well, that would be awesome. And you know, Kevin Feige, I'm actually interested in the role. So if you want to hire me,
You're speaking in tongues right now. I have no idea what you're going on about.
Black Panther, you guys will know.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. For me, who doesn't know, I've heard a lot about Ant-Man having problems in production, all this kind of stuff. I'm quite intrigued to see that one come to screen, mainly because the title sounds so naff. I'd be interested to see how they turn it on its head and
So
be
did
a
I.
really good film. Okay. Anyway, we want to hear what you guys have to say, so be sure to get in touch with us on Twitter at The Real Film Show, and please check out and follow our brand new website, therealdealonfilm.com. It has loads of stuff on there, including our reviews, news, and more featurettes and trailers that you can throw a hat at. Anyway, thank you so much for watching.